Welcome! I am the Overlord, and this is another spooky Halloween edition of Crack-a-Pack. Today, we are going to continue our trick or treat. As you can see, we have some packs remaining, just 6. Oh no! Oh, Eldrazi Scions! Creepy, crawly, little blind entities. I've just had it with Eldrazi. Yeah, get out of here. Jesus. Every day there's something else. Anyway, now that that's taken care of, we have 6 packs remaining, and we are going to go ahead and mix it up here for you right there. Then I'm going to close my eyes. We will grab 3 packs to see which are delicious treats and which, if any, are nasty tricks of packs that tempt you with good stuff but then have not good stuff. Let's see, let's do this one. My eyes are closed, so although you can see what I'm about to pull, I cannot. Yes. And then this one, yeah, why not? And then finally, our final pack, say win. Win. Good stuff with this last pack here. All right, now that that's taken care of, what do we got? We have Conspiracy, take the crown. Always nice to see that. There's some good value there. We have Kaladesh, the new, the fancy, extra exciting. And then we have Dragons of Tarkir. So let's go ahead, start with Dragons. Then we'll go through Conspiracy, then finally end it off with Kaladesh, and maybe even a masterpiece. Wouldn't that be a treat? Yes! That would be a treat indeed. We'll start things off with the Dragon Hunter. It has protection from dragons. It is a 2/1 for 1, and it can block dragons as though it had reach. Pretty great anti-dragon tech, especially at the beginning, just to blank those crafty flyers. I didn't see a lot of it played in limited, and I didn't use it in my warrior deck just because dragons are really, really big dudes. So either you hang on and then you have a really weak thing that dies to all of the other non-dragon creatures pretty easily, or you play it right away as just a 2/1 for 1 without really an upside. So, fair, kind of narrow, but fair at uncommon. Next we have the Raksha Gravecrawler, yes. Yes, it has exploit, so when it enters the battlefield you may sacrifice a creature. And if you exploit a creature, you get 2/2/2 black zombie creature tokens. So for 5 mana it's a 3/6. It's not super great on its own, but if you can sacrifice a creature, maybe something lying around, maybe you sacrifice that Dragon Hunter down there. Then you have a 3/6 and then 2 other 2/2 zombies with you. And that can be some really good value, really swing things in your favor on the board state. Last is the Quasisma Behemoth. And I totally butchered that, but that's okay. It's part of my charm. It is a 5/5 for 3, which you're like, whoa, that's amazing, except it can't attack or block unless you pay 2. Decent for enabling the formidable mechanic and the ferocious mechanic in this block, as far as Khan's Fate Reforged and Dragons of Tarkir. But other than that, it's just not good. If you're playing on curve, it doesn't really do anything, and you want to just play a creature out there. Advertisement, yuck. And you want it to do stuff. You don't want to have to then play a 2-drop your next turn in order to get it to attack. So we have this really cool island here. I like the art in the dragons sets for their basic lands. It's like really stormy, it has lots of blue, it has lots of mist and rain to it, so you think island. And it looks like an island, but it's very different from your traditional islands of Magic. And that's what I like about that. And what will I like about this card? Is it a trick or is it a treat? I'm excited. Get hype for Corpse Weft. That's kind of a trick, not gonna lie. I like this card in theory. It is for 3, it's an enchantment that you can pay 1 and a black, exile 1 or more creature cards from your graveyard, and then put an XX black zombie horror creature token onto the battlefield, where X is twice the number of cards exiled in this way. So if you have tons of stuff in your graveyard, you can then exile it to create a super crazy zombie thing, or you can exile a couple of different things to create a couple of crazy zombie horror things, but ultimately, there's not really a whole lot of use for it. Maybe a one of in a mono black zombie deck, but you're going to be reanimating those zombies anyway, so it kind of goes against the whole zombie flavor. Behold, it's conspiracy inside Halloween. And what would be a great conspiracy and a great treat for us would be a foil Kaya Ghost Assassin Planeswalker, because the foil one is actually numbered differently and has alternate art. That would be crazy, but there are plenty of great Legacy, Eternal playables, Commander playables in Conspiracy, so let's see if we can treat ourselves. That's a bummer, there's no foil, but we have a really powerful card back in the Theros block. If this was passed to you, it meant green was open in a draft. Very strong. The Nessian Asp for 5 mana, it's a 4/5 with reach, so it's pretty solid on the body. A little bit lacking. I would really like a 5/5er in green, maybe even a 5/6. But then it has, for 7 mana, Monstrosity 4. So then it just becomes this crazy beast. Blanks your flyers. You want to stack enchantments and bestow auras on top of that to really mess someone up. Next we have the Juniper Order Ranger. It is a human knight. It is a 2/4 for 5, which is really weak on the body for 5 mana, but whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature and a +1/+1 counter on Juniper Order Ranger. This is something I could very easily see in a multiplayer focus, say, let's just say Commander deck, where it's green-white. You have something that you can just easily generate creatures, even if it's until end of turn, and it can be good stuff there. We have a Dread Sanctuary. You dread to play against it. You can add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. It is a land, or you can pay 4, and it becomes a 4/2 artifact creature until end of turn, and it's still a land. So it's not too bad. It gives you a little bit of late power if you don't need a lot of color fixing requirements. Maybe stick this in there so that you can sneak out like a 4/2 blocker. With 2 toughness, it's probably going to die to whatever you're blocking, but with 4 power, it's solid. It can probably trade with whatever you need it to as well. So what we have here is a goblin token specific to Conspiracy. It's the Conspiracy that if you play it, then you get a 1/2 defender and everyone else gets a 1/1 goblin that can't block. So that's pretty neat. Some early game damage there. Our Conspiracy is Natural Unity. It's a hidden agenda. For green, at the beginning of combat on your turn, you can pay 1. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on the creature named with this hidden agenda. It can be pretty great, especially if you have something with hexproof or something that's hard for your opponents to remove. And now, can you feel it? I can feel it. This is a very powerful card here. I feel a great treat. Feel it with me. Feel it with me. We're gonna find out what it is. It's shaking with power. Whoa! Okay, so this was a trick. It tricked me. It was like, I'm gonna be powerful, and it's not. To be fair, this card won me some drafts. It is good in draft, but it's only good in draft because, as you can tell by the frame, it is a draft matters card. Before you shuffle your deck to start the game, you may reveal a card from your deck and exile 3 or more cards you drafted that aren't in your deck. And when I say a card, I mean reveal this card in your deck and then reveal 3 others that you drafted that aren't in your deck. You can pay 1 and a red to choose a card at random that you exile with this card, and it becomes a copy of it and gains this ability, so you can do it again. You can spin the slots to see if you can have it become whatever creature you needed it to become. In a Conspiracy draft, that's really good, especially if you get some like off-color bombs. But as far as constructed goes, it's useless. It's a 3/2 for 3 with a bunch of flavor text. It's been a pretty tricky crack pack so far, but if we can get a masterpiece from this Kaladesh pack, that would be quite the treat. So no masterpiece, unfortunately, because we do not have a foil. But we have a blossoming defense. This is pretty solid. It's a better ranger's guile. You pay 1 green, and target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains hexproof till end of turn. As far as combat trick goes, that's one of the few that I would use in limited. I'm not crazy about them, but that one can save one of your dudes from crazy removal. So there you go. We have the Elegant Edge Crafters, can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, and has Fabricate 2. Good for getting through a clogged board state if your opponent has lots of servos, or just like really weak creatures, then you can just load them up on counters. It's a 6 mana 3/4, but it can be a 6 mana 5/6 with the can't be blocked by weak creatures. Not too shabby. And my favorite type of curiosity, Morbid Curiosity. As an additional cost to cast Morbid Curiosity, sacrifice an artifact or creature, then draw cards equal to the converted mana cost of the sacrificed permanent. So this is crappier than Ultra's Reap if you're trying to sacrifice something like a servo that has the converted mana cost of 0. But if you have something really big and it's done for whatever reason, you just want to draw a bunch of cards, maybe you're looking for that last burn spell to seal the deal and win the game, then this could be alright. I'm not a huge fan outside of the flavor and the morbidness of it, but there you go. We have our little servo right there. Nice. Mountains, kind of generic mountains, but I like the, it's almost like it has a cell shaded look to it. Like I could see this coming from like a screenshot from like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. And I really appreciate that. I feel like a little extra effort went into the lands for that set. And here we go. Can we save this video of tricks? Can we treat ourselves at the end of this? There's still a lot of really good stuff. I'm gonna flip it around the other way so the magic symbol's facing this way instead of this way. Guess maybe that's what we were missing all along. Let us save this video and find a treat! Yes, Kaladesh coming back! Ah, excellent. We have the Verdurious Gearhulk, Green Gearhulk. That's his name, Green Gearhulk. It is sweet. It is, at first you're like, oh, a 4/4 trample for 5. How is this a super awesome mythic? Well, there's text on the card, and that text says, when it enters the battlefield, distribute 4 1/1 counters amongst any number of target creatures you control, including itself. So if you're desperate to get something on the board, maybe just after a huge board wipe, you can play an 8/8 for 5 mana. You can do it on turn 5 just to buff up all of your other dudes as well. This is nuts. This is the treat that we were waiting for. Ooh, yeah. Let's get those MVPs. So there we have it. Not a whole lot to write home about, but the Verdurous Gearhulk, Green Gearhulk, this right here. That was a treat. These two tricks tried to get us down, and we could have given up, and we could have been like, these packs are nothing but tricks, it's gonna get us down, and then what's the point? But I am the Overlord, and I don't give up so easily. So we pushed through and persevered, and we were rewarded with this delicious 8/8 trampling treat. Ooh, yes, 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 yes! So if you enjoyed it, and you like Green Gearhulks, be sure to hit that like button, please, and subscribe, and share with your friends. That's right, I know you have at least one, so share it. It's not that hard. And of course, if you think this series is just a giant course left, then click that dislike button, and then click it again, deep in your soul. And that's about all I have for this episode, this spooky special episode of Crack a Pack with the Overlord. So go now, my minions! Be free!